computer. There we go. All right. Well, there you go. We got ourselves a ragtag crew through. Thank you, everyone, for the patience with the links. That was a bit of an adventure, but we've got 4 of us here, and so hopefully we'll have a few others pop through. The links are out there in Facebook and the rest. So this is actually today. It's going to be a little different. We're going to have a nice little intimate crew here. Pepper, you're going to be sharing some magic with us with your numerology, which is awesome. So I'll just drop the galactic weather report, and then from there, I'll sit back and enjoy the show and take care of the back end, Pepper, to make sure the gate's open for anyone that comes. So it's actually really relevant, the energy, the archetype, because, right now we have this Mercury in retrograde. I mean, the world's going through transformations. We're all going through transformations, being called to power, and that looks different for everyone. And in the Mayan dream spell, we are in America there, you're coming to the end of the 3rd day of the 13-day wave spell. So a 13-day cycle known as the white mirror wave spell. So this white mirror, this 13 days is all about creating order. It's about endless reflection towards perfection. So it's this idea of, as Ram Dass would say, you have to polish the mirror to be able to see a clear enough reflection, to be able to cultivate self-awareness. And in this white mirror, so this 2 weeks we're at the beginning of right now, it's all about really reflecting and realigning the order of not only the things physically in your world, but also in your belief systems and in your emotional body. So it's about really seeing, where do things belong? What's real and what's not? What's getting in the way and what's not? And the best visual that I have for this is, if you think of, when you see those old storm drains, the big ones, and they get all clogged up over the years. People chuck washing machines in them, an old mattress gets in there, and, someone ends up dropping all, God knows what. And then over the years, it builds up and people just kind of ignore it. It's in the background. It's somebody else's job, right? And then eventually the storms really get big. And all of a sudden, we've got floods everywhere because all this stuff that's built up and left over and forgotten in these drains. And so then it causes chaos. So the white mirror is about kind of walking through those storm drains and taking a check. They do it here in the bush here in Australia. Every winter, when the winter's coming in, they'll go through all the along the roads and check the little gutters on the side to make sure that they're not cluttered up with branches and things that will flood the road. And so you kind of need to take responsibility. Someone has to take responsibility for checking these storm drains, these kinds of channels of energy. And the idea is that by reflecting as we walk through, does this mattress really belong here in this storm drain? No, it doesn't. That was an old story. Well, then let's put it in the tip where it belongs, or recycling where it belongs. So it's about going through and then seeing where things belong and removing them, clearing them, maybe just letting it go if it's an old emotion. And as we do that, what that does is creates this beautiful, clean storm drain that now when the water comes, it just flows with ease and grace and power to wherever it's heading. And so that's the idea right now as we go through this Mercury in retrograde. The dream spell is saying, create order in your home, create order in your heart, create order in your mind. And then that way, the energy of your creation, your higher self, your consciousness can flow through with full power into the world without the turbulence that gets created when it starts bumping against old beliefs and old this and old that. So that's the dream spell report for today. In America, you are literally coming to the end of the yellow electric sun. And the beauty of the dream spell work and the way the Mayans work with cycles is the secrets of life are hidden in all of the mathematical codes. So if you want to find out, well, how do I activate and actually begin the progress? Because, it's one thing to see what I need to do. It's another to look at what does it look like for me to do this? But then it takes activation. That takes a commitment, an emotional commitment to the process. Says, all right, I'm in, right? So today for us is that day of saying, are you in or not? And the way of saying I'm in on this white mirror, I'm in on Archangel Michael's sword is kind of the archetype here. say, I'm in for this, then we need to embrace the yellow electric sun energy, which is what you've been going through today. And that yellow electric sun is like that kind of masculine archetype that's all about taking self-responsibility. The sun that is empowered by its own self-generating, constant enlightening energy that, no matter the chaos and the rest, it's easy to say, yeah, but I didn't put that mattress in the storm drain. I didn't, drop that car in there. And it's like, yeah, maybe you didn't, but guess what? Your house is still next to that drain and it's going to be the first to get flooded. So you can complain all you like. You can say who should do it and who shouldn't. You can do that if you want. But if you want to really activate and take part in creating order, then there's only one person that you have responsibility for and you have the ability to respond from, and that's you. And so that's really the message that I've been really getting is, like, even today when scrambling around trying to work out how to get the Zoom room, because the Zoom wanted extra security measures and all these things. There's all kinds of ways you can go. I could say, oh, well, can't do the call today. Or you could sit there and say, oh, well, I hope I can hear from Kristen, because if not, I can't do it. Or I can take responsibility and just act on whatever I can do best in that moment. And trust in that calmly without needing to worry or stress or go crazy. And then perfection finds its way and order will eventually nestle itself in. So that is the weather report for today. And thank you for listening. And I'll hand it over to you guys.
That's a little wild because I mentally chose not to open my laptop yesterday to anything with both my jobs I do, and literally get my office in order and order my closet and just kind of like organize. And I'm like, why am I so drawn to this? It's like, I have to be outside. I'm organizing outside. I'm organized. I'm just was pulled to be in the sunlight. I was pulled to be, and I was like, and I went to bed with ease with it. And I'm like, well, I did what I was supposed to today. There's a lot of work on my plate tomorrow, but guess what? I did what I was called to do, That's amazing you said that. It's like, oh yeah, you're being pulled to organize. Yeah, I am. Yeah, so that's wild. Okay.
Fantastic.
I looked in the white mirror, I think.
Yeah. Indeed.
It's like you were saying, Pepper, in your introduction, that the beauty of, like, with the numerology and the names, as you were saying, and just these systems in general, that they're not about so much, right, telling us everything of like, this is this and this is this, but to give us that framework, as you were saying, to shift our perspective, to bring more optimism to life when we can see the potential hiding. And so I'm a little excited to hear what comes next.
Well,
thanks, Beth.
I am too.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that was so perfect, Mark. It just made sense of so much that's going on. You said the 5th day in, and the last 4 days plus today have all had a silly little glitch in them, and it has taken time to unravel it and pull it apart. And ordinarily I would be like huffy and let's get this done, and what did this, I was just calm and said, oh, okay, what's my next step? And I was so proud of myself for just having patience and saying, no, this is what we have to do right now. So just so precious that you said that today, and that we have several days left, so anyway.
That was our warning. Thanks.
Yes, that was the red flag to say, and if you think you're done.
Yeah.
So,
I'll be starting my shots of something.
it's just, I'm so glad that we know these things and that we have other knowledge to draw from. And this morning I said to all my gang on the other side, I'll say, show me miracles today. And I've had some very interesting things that happen. And each one of them I'm looking at, oh, well, that was an odd miracle. Maybe it was an answer of how to get in here with you guys,
Sorry,
No.
Pepper. There you go.
There, that's better. We're back again. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to just bring a few things to light in the way of numerology. And you know, I'm finding as I put out this information that many people don't even have a clue what numerology is. And it's like, really? And so it's like a little bit of an education process, you know, anytime you do that. Now, you guys are all familiar with numerology, right? Or at least to a certain extent. Okay, so we had Pythagoras back in, I think, 500 AD, a really brilliant man, and he figured out that all of the letters in any alphabet have a number involved with them. Like A is the first letter in the alphabet. So he said, okay, let's assign the number 1 to A, and it goes up to 9, and then he starts over again, 1 through 9. So anyway, then I don't know how it came up, but he had certain words that went with the number 1 and a 2 through 9. So it's brilliant how the system works. And then of course, when you have your letter combinations, they have certain meanings and what have you. And I've been working with this system for well over 30 years and have done countless readings. And just recently, I have to tell you, I'm adding an energetic value to each of the letters, and it is astounding. You know, for years I went along oh, okay. Now I'm bigger here, and I lost.
Sorry, Pepper. Is that okay? Just I thought it'd be good for those on the phones can see you in a bigger picture.
Okay.
You comfortable with that?
All right. Yeah. You
awesome.
just surprised
and then what
me.
I'll do is whenever you're working with one of the people, I'll bring them on and make sure that both are on the screen.
Okay, the master of Zoom. I love
I'll do
that.
production for you.
Yes, for sure. So anyway, working with numerology for over 30 years now, I get bored with things so fast. I'll read a book in 2 chapters and I go, I'm done. You know, I know how it's going to end. And so many of the trainings, it's like, you know, this was a training. You know, the things that you guys do here are phenomenal, and just we could go on for hours and days and weeks with this stuff. And that's what I've come up with numerology. In the last few months, I have had more master numbers with people than I have ever had. And a master number is 11, 22, 33, 44, up to 99. And I had never had a 99. And the other day I had a 99. I've had an 88. I've had 2 66s and numerous 11, 22, and 33s. Now this is like astounding. You know, I'm finding that people really have incredible destinies that they came in with, and all of a sudden they're just blossoming like crazy. And since I'm into this, I will do the first names here in a little bit, because the other part is so fantastic. Is that I was told by my guide the other day that by 2026, all of the influencers on the planet, we are all influencers, will have a super skill that we will be adding to who we are. Now, they told me that super skills look like visionary skills, deeper listening, deeper touch value, telepathy, all of these things that, you know, for a long time, maybe we looked at as, wow, those are kind of cool things, but they're not anything that I do, but what I'm finding is when I look at a name and do an analysis, I'm even starting to find out what the next super skill for that person is. And when I start sharing things on a level like that, I mean, people are shocked. And, you know, they were to begin with on what I was coming up, but this, I'm just, I am just so almost overwhelmed. I am so pleased that I have this ability to see this and teach it and, you know, help people really expand into all of the variety pieces and parts that they can have. So that's my latest fascination. And to me, it's just glorious because, you know, we have friends and beings that are going along with us and really expanding into just fifth, seventh, ninth dimensional components that are really starting to show up. And I'm very, very excited about that. So on that note, Beth Ann, would you like me to do your first name and I'll show you what's there?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay, all right. So in the name Beth, and I'm going to do Ann as well because there are good things there as also.
Well, my official name is Beth Ann.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It is, yeah.
All right, real good. So anyway, the B is you are a great hostess. You open your doors, you say, come on in. You can either create a party or it just sort of evolves. People love coming to your house. They feel warm and welcomed by you. And that's the first thing that you say to the universe. So that is really, really a credit to you. Now, the E is all about an empath. Now, I'm not going to go into the 3 types of empath, but you are very sensitive, not only in your own accord, but for what you see in others, and the you know what somebody requires. I mean, somebody would say, well, how did you know that? And you just say, I just know. And so there's an inner knowing with you that would be also part of the start of something that would be much more expansive for you coming up as you mature and have more years on yourself. And you may already be having some of these tendencies. At one point in the Bible, it is said that the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, in the Bible, in those times, meek meant something different than we understand today. Meek kind of means shy and maybe a little bit introvert or whatever. But in those days, it meant someone who could really read somebody else, really allow and know their capacities so that you could assist them. And so if we look at the meek shall inherit the earth, we really couldn't be around unless we had the empaths in the world, because the vibrancy of your caring and kindness and compassion just goes rippling out to the earth. And I'm getting chills all over the place, that if we didn't have people with ease in their name, you know, we wouldn't be in as good a place as we are. So the T is a 2 value, and it says that even though you could be a leader, it's more fun in life if you have at least one person to play with or to go to lunch with or to, you know, to even to live with. So
Oh, Pepper, 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 you're hitting every chord. And it's strumming loud.
Okay, so the H, my dear, says at one point in time, whether in this life or another, you did have money, you did have wealth. And so you tell the universe, pour it on. I know what to do with money and abundance, and you can trust me with that. And, I've been through it, and these are things that I'm aware of. So the A is really, I'd say, my favorite vowel. It says that you understand at this time in life that you came here to stand out, not to fit in, because you're a trendsetter. You have new things to share. You're kind of a teacher in your own right. You are an adventurer, and you have courage, and you're ready to take a calculated risk. But kudos to you, because the A is really profoundly awesome. Now, the fact that you have two N's here, and I do see a third N. Every time you see an N means there's something in your life where you are very organized. Now, every time we see another N, in this case, we've got three of them there. It shows that you're pretty picky, girl. And I had somebody that I lived with who had three N's, and he would even go so far as to clean the counters with a spray, whatever, just before bed. No matter what I had done in the kitchen, he did this. And I tell you, it really got to me, because I thought, I obviously didn't do it right, so I was taking on that fact. And
Okay, I'm not that bad, but there's some areas where
I will tell you. And so be kind to the people around you if you have someone you're living with, and let them know that it's your thing, that it's not something that they had done, because our culture says we must have done something wrong, if you had to go back over it, before you went to bed. So
I used to do that. I don't do that anymore.
Okay, good. You've learned.
I had babies, and I realized you step over the toys to go to bed.
Oh.
And then it took until they were 21 and they moved out, because they're like, yeah, my office is a mess. Okay, whatever. Step over it.
Well,
I'm evolving.
I'm glad you're more relaxed now. So those, without doing the formula of Beth Ann, did we hit some alignment?
You hit it spot on absolutely everything.
Okay.
I mean, to a T, absolutely everything. I've been known as the hostess of the mostest. I am the one who, they don't know where to go. They call me, and even yesterday, the teacher my girlfriend on the way, who's in New York, called and said, okay, I'm having a bad night. I just need to call you to get me through this ride to get to this parent teacher conference that I don't want to be at. And it was the best night she had, I am the pleaser of my family. Out of 7 kids, I am the middle child in age wise. Everybody's happy. Everybody has the right Cokes. Everybody has, one likes Coke with caffeine, one likes Diet Coke without it. I'm that, to a T. I have the open door policy too. I can read the room easy. I can be a leader. I'm a strong leader, but I like to play.
Good girl.
I do like to play.
Well, good. The T also shows one thing that you brought up there is, let's see, is that you're no stranger to contrast, and that you frequently are the middle ground, and you're frequently also bringing everybody together, different points of view, so that everybody gets along. So you really are that mediator in many ways. So yeah, all of that and more was there, you know. So anyhow, that's who you are, darling.
Wow. Wow. I think, yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. You just blessed my day.
Oh, well,
And-
I am
I
delighted.
can't wait to share this with my siblings tomorrow. It'll be like,
Yeah.
You know,
See, this is me.
Yeah.
I got validation.
Pepper, I have to go good for all of what you've just shared, and Beth, because once I had to launch this new Zoom room and try and work everything out, I took the action I could take that I could take responsibility for, and then Beth was the first one in. And Beth, you'd comment so I could tag you, and when you came in, I felt so calm. It was like having you there with me. It was literally like you were actually just hosting and holding space, and that generous, bubbling kindness that you've got just in you. It just made it feel okay. And then you were actually the one that could reach out and contact a few others and help me get clarity on what to do. So you done your role beautifully today. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you. Yeah. It gets hard sometimes though.
Yeah, because you take on so much.
Yeah.
You know, that E is sometimes is a heavy thing. And the A, because you feel that you have to be, you know, like the adventurer. You know, if anybody has to know something or step up to the plate, you know, that's you. And you know, you obviously today did it beautifully and brought us together as a team. So, you know, thank you
Yeah.
just for
Well,
being you.
thank you. Yeah, this is amazing.
Okay, real good. So,
Wow.
Tracy, why don't you come on down? Now we talked a little bit about the T, and so the first thing that you tell the universe is the same thing. You have had contrast in your life. You've it could be good, bad, white, black. You know, are you in or you're out? And you know, at this point, after learning this and having this be the first letter of your name, you know, it comes almost second nature for you in what you have to do. You could, as a mediator or a bridge, if you will, you could do this in your family. You could easily have a job doing this, you know, a legal mediator in divorce situations or times when people don't get along. I'm sure you've heard from people, oh, Tracy, thank goodness you were here. You understand, and you know, and you get things done. And you know, there's a lot of praise there when people realize that you're holding the middle ground for people. You know, that's a real important job. And you handle it well. Now, the R shows that you are in alignment with your maker, and that you operate much of the time from faith, and that you just know, oh, we're over here today. That's a surprise. but then you just shine with who you are, and you do that, and you do that very well. Now, if you had 3 9 values, R's, or a couple of other letters, which I don't see, then there might be cause for you to occasionally go into depression. But what this shows is that if you have a bad day, you bring yourself back up. You're kind of like the Energizer Bunny. And, you know, because A is like, oh, let's get this party started, you know, and it's kind of like, what do I have to do to really initiate something? And I'm on to the A's now. The A is a starter if there ever was one, and you've got 3 A's. So now what I will say is, with 3 A's, you could be a little rough on yourself for being a perfectionist. You know, you set the bar really high. You know, everybody else is down here, but no, Tracy needs to be really up here. And, you know, you're just not happy until, you know, everything's done. And sometimes you really don't have to go that far, but it's so ingrained that it's difficult not to do that. So I'm just letting you know that you're the only one who's so hard on yourself with that A value. Now, what we like a lot is that you can be a leader. You have a lot of strategy within yourself to help another person who might be a leader, and just a lot of adventure. You know, in the middle of the night, I wouldn't be surprised if you wake up and say, and put on your Superwoman costume and out you go. You know, you got to save the world during the night, you know, because that's, you love that. And it's exciting to you, and you live for those moments. You know, even if you don't share some of those things, and they keep you going as a person and with who you are, because you're always looking toward that super skill that you have. So, you know, you're part of what you're creating for yourself for the future would be how to save the world. You know, what can you come up with? What new strategy, what new theme or thought or idea could come about that could change things dramatically for the world? The C says that you are extremely creative, and that you've got lots and lots of ideas. Ta-da! And you're not afraid of color. You know, look at it. I'm serious. Just really, really awesome. Love it. Now, the Y is something that I really, really love. In my legal name, Beverly, my name ends in a Y. And the Y is clever. You have got a mind that you may come up with solutions and more solutions. You know, if you need 3 back doors, you think of 5, but it's because you like to do that. And it's every single one is unique and different. And most people would not think of the solutions that you come up with. You'll astound people, and they'll say, how did you ever figure that one out? And, you know, well, it just came to me, you know, because it's so much part of who you are. Now, the Y is also a 7 value. And so that brings in your wisdom. So you're always gathering your wisdom, and, you know, the Y is at the end of your name. So you're not always telling people the wisdom, but it's always there if somebody should ask. And you've very carefully thought of that. So how does that fit with you?
Just like Beth Ann, it's pretty much strumming all the chords. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And I think, though, I don't know if it's the retrograde or the polishing that Mark was talking about of the mirror, but that depression thing that happens for me, yeah, it's been a little heavier than it has in a while. Okay. And but I do bounce. Like I am an Energizer bunny. I can, yeah, and I never sleep a full 8 hours. Never. I'm always up. And I get my best writing and my best ideas in the middle of the night.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, all of this. Yeah. And then the current focus is this wellness center. And we're strategizing. We're coming up with ideas of different things that are going to draw people into discovering, you know, their authentic spirit self. So we're always, yeah, this is where I'm at. I mean, you really nailed it. Thank
Okay,
you.
real good. And, you know, if you need a numerology person, call me for your
Okay.
center. I would love to be part of that.
That would be awesome.
Okay,
That would be
real
awesome.
good. So, and last but not least, we have Mr. Mark. So, yeah, so put yourself in the hot seat here, boy.
Let me get myself on the stage. Just before we start, Pepper, I want to say this is so much fun. It's like watching when you were talking, like I was watching you, Tracy, with that backdrop. And as you were describing it, it was almost like we were about to film a movie and you were sitting there getting the characters into their roles, you know, and I could see Tracy with that background with it's almost like frequency, you know, the superpower behind her and almost like that Clark
Absolutely.
Kent Superman, you know, that there's those glasses that are kind of trying to hide the superhero that's hiding behind them to act sweet and everything, but then you see this energy just ready to launch. So I was watching it come alive.
Yeah, I would never want to stand in her way. You know, you corner that girl, and I'm telling you, you could be gone really fast. So, you know, I tell you that Y packs a real wallop on the end. You know, once she's had enough, she has had enough, and you will know it. So,
Fantastic.
anyway, yeah. And you know, Tracy, one last thing about that frustration or depression. I was not going to say that because you only had 1 9 in your name, but I was prompted to say that. And so if you feel like you're going down the drain in any way, shape, or form, do something to get yourself back out. Call somebody, do a quick fun movie, start laughing like crazy. You know, just do something to bring the energy back up for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
very
And my cat is jumping up and down. So I'm going to go grab him so you can focus on Mark. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay,
And remember,
real
we've
good.
got these Healys. During these crazy times, there has been this is kind of why I got into Healy 2 years ago and still are today, is beyond all the magic that this thing has done in my life, the actual way that it deals with anxiety and depression and can just kind of take the anchor out of the quicksand. You know, the hardest part, I've seen it have immense success. The hardest thing I've seen people struggle with is putting it on when we need it, with depression and anxiety. Anxiety,
Wow.
not enough time. Depression, don't even deserve it. You know,
Right,
it's like there are these sabotage I watch in myself and people around. But yeah, it really does amazing things. Just to, even when it's not feeling like it's really like depression, it's just that high functioning depression, which I think is what probably a lot of us get at times. That's when you want to jump in on it before it pulls you deep down. So awesome, Pepper. This is fun.
Okay.
Yeah, this is great.
It really pinpoints, I will tell you. You know, the numerology itself in a book doesn't hold a candle to what Spirit has helped me figure out. A lot of this is intuition and stories that I can tell. And, you know, I'm picking out an understanding to the letters where, you know, if you have a name on a business card and put it on the table, it's like when I do the letters, it stands up and becomes the person, and you're looking directly at the person, even if you've never met them before. It's shocking to me, but I love it, love it, love it. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, all right. So, Mr. Mark, the M is the first letter that you tell the universe, and you're saying, okay, universe, make my foundation stable, solid, and secure so that I can be who I am and do the destiny that I came here to work with and to serve people. And so my sense is that you've never been very much without on any of the important features, and that you know, I know that you're a grateful man, and that goes a long way. And the universe loves playing with you because you know you're fun and you get it. So here we have you, you know, at this point that you came here to stand out, not to fit in. You are authentic, different. You know, they broke the mold with you, and you go after new things. You're a beginner with things. It's like, ooh, something new. Let me get into that, you know. And I like the fact that you have staying power also, because you use your wisdom so very well. So anyway, the A is that Superman characteristic, and you can see it in yourself. You know that's there, and you have the ability. I would love it if someday that we had numerology in the schools, so that the little kids, you know, they're 7 and 8 years old, and they're playing on the playground, and one little boy who goes up to another little boy and says, "You have an A in your name. I know you love adventure. Let's go play." And you know, all of a sudden, you know, they're trusted friends for life. And that's what lights me up, is when you see other people and they have the same letter configuration, and you can start a deep conversation and all of a sudden be the best of friends in a few minutes. You know, I mean, instead of, "Oh, what's the weather like? You know, how long do you have to go?" How long do you have to go on that before it gets to a deeper level and you could just really jump right in? So that A, it really is important. And of course, we've covered a bit of the E's, and you've got 2 E's in that last name. So the R, now, yes, the depression, I'm glad that you picked that up right away. What's your middle name?
I don't have one. We were never given one.
Interesting, because I was looking for an I in your name, and I'm just going to say that you have one. It's cosmic intelligence. You are way out there as far as your intelligence is concerned. And you bring in, what I mean by cosmic intelligence is you are not originally from here, and most of us are not, but you came here at this particular time because of the difficulties in the world, and you are bringing in information from other places in the universe. And you know, at night you are connected, I'd say most nights, just as a check-in to see how you are, and they're giving you a download. And you know, it may come through in a lot of different ways, but you start with an idea or a concept, and you break it into puzzle pieces, and then all of a sudden you add a little of this, and okay, and the puzzle piece becomes a picture. And this is how you process mentally. So your processing ability is not immediate. It takes you a little while to think of an answer to something. Don't want an answer immediately from you. You need to kind of fit and mold things into your life that really fit for you and for others. You have great concern over how you fill other people in on the wisdom. So, you know, I know there's not an I there, but I know that you have cosmic intelligence, and that's far and away beyond what an IQ test would do for the earth. So the K is that 2 value. So you also have the ability to understand contrast. And, you know, if you're living in difficulty, just like you said today, okay, we need to ride the wave until it gets to the other side, and we have a solution or a resolution that we can live with to get out of the quandary or whatever was the dark side or the upside downness of the way things are. And you're another person that, you know, you're middle of the road. You come in and you find center very fast because you've been through this contrast so many times in your life, and you're saying, okay, where's middle ground? Where's middle ground? Do we need to meditate, or do I need to do the galactic weather report, or whatever it is? Because that the weather report, what that does is it pauses, it puts a pause on whatever has happened in somebody's life. That was then, the pause is now, and now we can move on to a new segment and maybe learn something. We don't want to mess up the new stuff with bringing in all the old. So I love that you are very stern and strong in that. Let's get that weather report here so that we get something else to think about before we go on to the next segment of our day. So I really like that you do that. And the other thing about the two is, we know that you're a leader. We know that you can be by yourself, but you know, there are times in life where it's fun to have a really good friend, somebody to play with, somebody to laugh with, somebody to share with, and that's very important for you. So how does that all fit for you?
If I can unmute myself. Pepper, like the others, you have nailed it. And I have to say that it's one of those things I like you've shared, is I wish that they would. I'm so glad I can homeschool my son now to give him the meaning of numbers, because numerology has been ridiculed in so many ways, because it's like, it's just like astrology on the surface.
Right.
And like they say, the number, I think I saw a quote by an amazing mathematician yesterday, actually, saying that it's like geometry. What was it? Geometry is the sound geometry is the sound of the visual world, or something like this. It's like, it's the song of the visual world. And really talking about that everything is number. Number is the purest language, is the language of the universe. And so with you sharing like you are, I can really see and relate as well to the way that you see. The way I see gene keys and human design is in a similar way. When a person sits in front of me, like you've, and I love, Pepper, that you have this, it's their keys to unlock and almost tune us into their cosmic data bank, as opposed to tell us who they are, right? And so I see that in you when you're delivering, and I think, that's beautiful. So thank you for the gift.
Oh, thank you, guys. This is something that I just love to do. And I see that we've got Julie here. Julie, would you like your first name done?
Hi, everyone. I just got a minute to myself, popped on to Facebook and saw Tracy's update about this call. And I was like, I just felt called to jump on. So hi, everyone.
Hey, Julie.
The interloping.
Well, Julie, what we're doing at the moment is Pepper's been giving us a demonstration of the numerology and the work that she does, and blowing us all away. So did you want to jump in and have it, if you got the time, Pepper?
Pepper and I have done this once before.
That's okay. Tracy, I did Tracy also, but I did her first name, and it's just kind of like a little refresher course.
Reminder.
And reminder. And all of a sudden we remember she had said that before, but let's reenact that. I'm just doing the first name. Okay, right. So the J is a 1 value. So just like the A, you are a leader in your own right. You tell the universe, hey, I can handle it. I've got the courage and the conviction, and I have a background, and what do you want me to lead at? And so, you're no stranger to being a leader for a group, or being authentic and different in your life. And maybe there was a time when, oh dear, being a leader in something or being different, that wasn't okay. But now it's kind of like, well, that's who I am. Take me or leave me. I don't care. And so you do your own thing, and that's really to your credit. Now, the U is something that I love, and as you have more years, you will be an incredible storyteller. Now, this may be something that you're doing now, maybe to a smaller degree, but as time passes, this may very well be a very special trait and talent of yours. So we would say, if ever you wanted to write a book, maybe short stories, and along with being a storyteller, that usually indicates that you've had many, many times and events in your life where the weirdest things have happened. And look at your face. Yeah. And so we want you to remember to write all those things down, because there will be a time that you want to share these things, and you'll have your own ways of storytelling, and people will just be hanging on every word. It's like, oh, Julie's going to tell a story. Let's go here, and it's I'm just getting a lot of chills with that. It's very, very special. So then we have the L. The L is a 3. It's very creative. So, it may not be art, but it's the way you put yourself together. It's the way that you tell stories. It's the words that you use. It's how you present yourself to other people. And it's very, I'm trying to find a word that it's very encompass, or we just are fascinated by what you come up with. And you may have heard in your life, how did you come up with that one? And you just say, oh, it just occurred to me. And it's just something, wild and different, and something that somebody else would not have come up with right away. So anyway, then we have the I, and I was talking to Mark that what that is cosmic intelligence. So you may have had in your life these times where you come up with stuff that's like, the caliber of Einstein or Tesla, or some different kind of a character that you think, I don't know how this got in here, but I'm playing with it, and it's dramatic, it's different. You process like a male mind. A male mind usually does concepts and ideas, and then so you've got a skeleton, and you keep adding little pieces to it until you have a puzzle, until you come up with a concept, and then you do something with the concept. It's not immediate, and you don't care, because it's your own little game. It's like how you entertain yourself. Everybody else could be saying, oh my goodness, this was my day, and you're so bored. So you go into one of your concepts, and then you're feeling really good because you're just playing and having a good time. And what I say to that is, frequently I will say, just for fun, just for me, never tell anyone. So, that's something that's you with you. And it's, sometimes we have to entertain ourselves because maybe there isn't another person around who's as intelligent as you are. The E on the end is you have the empathic quality that you can really sense what someone requires without talking with them, without, it could be somebody you know really well or somebody you've just met, and you just immediately know that they need a glass of water or that they need to be heard, whatever it is. And you just know without being told what someone is requiring at that moment. And your energy goes out around the earth. I don't know that the earth could even exist without people who are empaths. I have 3 E's in my name, and you've got 2 that I see. So every time you have an E, it's an exponential of more sensitivity than what others have. Now, I will say another thing, once you have at least 2 E's, when you come in from having been at a job or with a group of people or whatever, there is what I call the 20-minute rule that really enact this and make this something for yourself if you haven't already done it. Take 20 minutes by yourself, because you have to sort out what isn't you and what is you. So you're pulling it together and saying, oh, okay, I need these things. These things are mine. And I also would say when you go to bed at night, because your mind is all over the world, and you just say, okay, pieces, come back into me so that I can have a peaceful sleep tonight. And Mark, you've got a couple E's, and Beth Ann, yeah, and Tracy does too, as do I. So this is something that we all, it would be really good to remember to do this, is to pull all your pieces and parts together so that you become you again. Because if you come home and somebody's saying, oh, what's for dinner? And the kids are saying this or that, it's really scattering to you and confusing, and it's really hard for you to come back into who you are. So one of the most valuable things that you can do is say, hey guys, I need 20 minutes. You can say anything you want to, we can do anything after 20 minutes, but give that to me, because it's very much required. So does all that make sense to you? Okay.
Yes, those are wonderful reminders. Thank you.
Okay, real good. So anyway, that I guess we kind of went over a little bit, but I think that was fun and exciting. So I wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Pepper. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So welcome. Yeah, I love, this is a very heartfelt group. And the Vibe Tribe is a master number of 44. The 4 is stable, solid, and secure. 4 and 4 is 8. That's manifesting. And all the people here are so, just way out there and to be cherished and learned from. And, we're a very special group. So, you're in the right place, guys.
And Pepper, when you say that the Vibe Tribe is number 44, the 44th gene key is the codon in our DNA, 44, that's responsible for teamwork. And it's the one that's responsible for the future of teamwork, which is synergy, where we all synergize and become, 1 + 1 = 3. Whereas the shadow of 44 is interference, where we try and, we think we want to, I want to work in that team, but then, but I want to do it my way. And we don't really work with the team. We just kind of chuck our stuff into the middle. So that 44 is really about evolving a new way of working as a team through synergy rather than interference. And so
Oh,
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was, I was working with Brittany on that, and she said, could you do this? Figure out the numbers. And I forget what she had first, but I said, no, that's not really going to work. What else have you got? And she came up with, the Vibe Tribe. Oh my goodness. I said, perfect. It's sustainability. It's, that core of that matrix of perfection, so that each of us can go out and be ourselves, yet feel that we've got the universe has our back. So that's really quite wonderful with the energy of the four. It just kind of gives us a hug, and just kind of allows us to be who we are. So that's so good. I'm so pleased that you said that.
Yay.
Really important. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, you magical humans. So I've got the recording, which is just going to go to the Vibe Tribe crew afterwards. I'll make sure I send that to Kristen, so she's got that for the others. This has been an amazing call, and I really want to thank all of you for really accepting me into the Vibe Tribe so beautifully. It's so nice to be able to, dance in and out of the world, and all around the world. I've got different people in Healy, and I got to say, one of the places where I feel the safest and just like the most relaxed is coming into these calls with you guys. So Pepper, everything you've said really lives out. And on that note, just quickly, just some little updates on Healy. If you haven't seen the back office, it has been amazing updates with training and everything. And I was thinking about this, Pepper, when you talk about the Vibe Tribe. One of the things I've loved is the way that it kind of just gels, and it's not always about Healy or this or that. It's just whatever's alive and present for the group as it comes together. And we're in a time where we can do that now, because all the back office has got training for business, training for your fast start, training for your comp plan, training for how to use the new back office that's been upgraded recently. So there's so much that's been done now that we used to have to do these calls to kind of constantly help people. Now it's amazing to be here with all of you, where it's, no, we don't need to. It's all kind of there. We know how to get that under control, and we get to play together. So, but just a reminder to everyone that there is some big changes have gone down on the back office, and it's worth taking some time and letting your people know, so that way we can change that kind of, like we talked about at the beginning with the weather report. We can give the power of self-responsibility to anyone that we're working with, our members and team, empower them that they don't have to sit there, and because sometimes they don't realize, and then they're texting you and you might be getting a bit frustrated. Oh my God, I've got to keep answering all these texts and crazy hours. And it's like, well, then give them the power, show them the back office, So we're at that point now where we finally can show them the back office.
Wow. Great.
So that's a good moment to celebrate. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank
How's
you,
everyone feeling?
for making this happen for us.
Well,
Appreciate
it was fun.
It was.
I love doing this. I mean, if it isn't obvious.
It's natural. I just want you to do your name for us next time.
Oh, well, it's really simple. The P's are all wisdom. The E's are all that I'm an empath. And the R is that I'm in line with my maker. I'm here to teach this and to share it and to be it. I mean, duh.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of spot on.
Not
Absolutely.
much to tell there.
I had a little chuckle when I looked at your name, Pepper, and I was like, oh yeah, there's only 3 letters there.
Yeah. I'm like, I knew what the E was.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. What can I say?
You're a beautiful channel.
It's
You're
a
an
gift.
artist.
Yep. Total gift. So.
It just had this sudden laugh. It's like numerology is almost like God's version of paint by number.
That is fantastic. That really is. Just fill in the blanks because it's all there, and add a
That's part of the
story.
program.
And you know what it is. So
Yeah, beautiful. All right, my dears. Well, thank you so much. Like you say, Pepper, we could be here for hours on end sharing knowledge.
exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm sure
I
everyone's
look
got
forward to
amazing night.
watching the recording.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Lots of
Have a
love.
good evening.
Thanks. Have a great one. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.